for Tuesday, June 2nd. We're going to have you guys lead us. All right? We have our flag over here, so whenever you're ready, boys, take it away.
Take your hat off.
One of you. Just one. Start it out.
Captain. Allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. No. All right. So you guys are on our agenda first this evening. For everyone else that's here, the middle school boys have won their conference champions. So we have all of them here. Well, as many that showed up tonight, and we have certificates for you guys. So Dr. Santilli will go ahead. Yep. Superintendent Sutler.
You're the big one.
This guy right here. You're a toothman, right? No? Boy, you look like a tooth. You don't? It's good. He looks like you.
Todd, the microphone. Okay, there we go. I've got a loud mouth, so I probably didn't need it anyway. All right, this is the South Harrison Middle School baseball team who won the conference championship. This is the third conference championship in 4 years. I think that should be celebrated. The all-conference players are Cameron Deem and Aiden Marple, and the all-tournament players are Wyatt Radliff and Ben Carroll. So I think, do you have the coaches first? No? All right. All right, our first player is Aiden Marple, and he was one of the all-conference players we just mentioned. And then Caden Beatty. Cameron Deem, also all-conference.
What's the other guy look like?
Benjamin Carroll. He's all-tournament player. And then we had Wyatt Ratliff, also all-tournament. Kyle Trader. And then Joseph Rosilius. Easton Radliff. Wyatt Caroli. Owen Messenger. Cage Goldsmith. Liam Barnett. Caleb Shockey. And Walker Koontz. And let's recognize our coaches. We have Brian Deem, coach, and the assistant coach is Scott Toothman. Before we get admins up here, let's just say congratulations. Congratulations, boys. What a great accomplishment, being the conference championship. So, all right, I think we have the admin for South Harrison Middle and the AD here. We have Miss Richards and Miss Skidmore. Yes. Oh, Carson Barnhart. Did I call you Richards? Sorry. That's okay. And then we also want to recognize our parents for, it's a lot of work getting these guys where they need to be and getting them ready, and especially keeping them organized, right, with their stuff, their shoes and their uniforms and all that. So Thank you to all the guardians and the parents for that, for getting them here. Anything else? Yep, go ahead. Oh, I can jump.
Somebody needs to trade places with Ben.
Great job, boys.
Are they leaving?
Yes, they can, if they want to leave, they can leave. Yep. Mhm. All right. All right. Next on our agenda, I want us to take a moment, and I want to call forward Coach Robert Shields, Bridgeport High School, baseball coach. So I think we all need to come down here with you and take a picture for your outrageous accomplishments. 1,000 wins. How many state champions? 7, 8, 9? 9 championships.
Not to brag.
Maybe, I'm not gonna jinx it. So come on down, everybody. I think that we want to have a picture with you. We're appreciative of all
I was reading all the great stuff.
the years with the students. And is this your team? Come on, boys. Come on up, boys. You've got a great coach here, and I think that he deserves all the recognition that we can give him for all the accomplishments that he's done. Thank you. Yes, absolutely.
All right, guys. Tall guys in the back, short guys up front.
Hey, while you're doing this picture, I just want to say, I know we recognized his 1,000th win, but there's a lot of great stuff on here. He's the head baseball coach, of course, at Bridgeport High School. He achieved this historic milestone on May the 5th, 2026, when he secured his 1,000th career victory in a win over Robert C. Byrd. 38 years, do you care if we mention 38 years? Shields, 38 years into his tenure, made it clear that while the milestone was special, his focus remained on the upcoming state championship game on June 13th in Huntington. 1,000th win, Shields is the second coach in West Virginia history to reach this milestone, joining Jefferson's John Lowry. You know him? Real well. 9 state championship as Bridgeport's head coach, and known for his longevity, player relationships, and program growth. Nobody can contest that. Shields has coached multiple generations of players, many of whom remain his life and support his work. So congratulations to Coach Shields for a job well done. Thank you. We need to have Renee up. This is Matthew.
I won't bite, not today. And I brushed my teeth.
I just want to say, Robert, your sister's here. She came from Parkersburg. She was an employee of Harrison County Schools for a long time, so it's good to see you as well. Thank you, yeah. You ought to come up for a picture, yeah.
And I'm his biggest fan.
Biggest fan.
My sister.
Oh, okay.
They bell.
All right, guys. 3, 2, 1. Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Is Brianna here?
No?
On a cut right. We'll get to her later.
Get to her when she shows up.
What was with Brianna?
Brianna cut right.
Yeah, there was something. Did she call?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, yeah, I talked to one of her principals. They're looking at colleges, so she
Oh,
may be a
okay.
little late.
Okay.
We'll pull her back up.
Go back
Okay.
to
I knew there was
her when
something.
she arrives. But now that brings us down to Lola with our EL program.
Maybe her last presentation.
Thank you.
Because of retirement.
Congratulations on your retirement.
I got mine, yeah.
Thank you.
Approved hers yet.
She wasn't feeling well yesterday.
Well, good evening, Board President Devano and board members. We're thankful for the opportunity to give you an update on the EL program. First of all, I want to celebrate our ALPA 21 scores, and that's the first on your packet. And you can see with the top score for 25-26 this spring, we had 16 students, or 11%, score proficient on the English language proficiency assessment, and we decreased our emergent level students down to 13%, or 18. And this is reflective of Harrison County schools and the public schools. So what you have on the back of that for this year is just Harrison County schools only. And you can see all 16 of those students that scored proficient are our public school students with that. So we were excited about that. But if you can see the trend data from the bottom of the page up, you can see that we've been increasing our students that score proficient and decreasing our students in red that are emergent English language proficiency students. So that's some exciting news there. And so I want to take time to introduce to you Sarah Kisner, who's been on our EL committee for the last year and this year, and she wants to share some updates. So thank you, Sarah.
I just want to thank the board for having this committee, because when I first started, I was just unsure when I had an EL student how to break down those barriers and the best way to support those students, and I didn't always feel like I was doing the best that I could in supporting, and I just felt like I needed more resources. So that was part of the reason that I joined the EL committee, and I was so grateful for all of the discussion and the problems that we were having in the classroom, that we were able to discuss those and talk about ways that different teachers use resources and technology and different things to help support in the classroom. And I know that through the committee, we brought the GLAD program, and I know that that was very helpful for many teachers. They were able to utilize those and help our EL students. So I was just very thankful to be on the committee. I learned a lot, and I just felt like I could better support those students in my classroom.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. You know, we are at the last day of school, and so it's been a little challenging to get teachers to come, because they've already had some plans and things like that. They are free, but we have a video here from Rachel Props, who is one of our EL teachers as well.
Hi, I'm Rachel Probst. I'm an English language specialist here in Harrison County. During the 2024-2025 school year, all of us had the opportunity to be a part of a countywide committee reviewing policies, resources, curriculum, engagement, professional development, etc., all these things as it relates to teaching our multilingual students, hundreds of them, and the additional services that we provide in the county, be it counselors, teachers, admin, and all the ways in which we work with this population. Out of that committee came a suggestion for GLAD training, which gratefully the county adopted this year and offered to a small group of us from January to March. The training, the resources, the implementation of it has been life-changing, particularly for me, teaching literature and upper-level concepts to my multilingual high school students And then anybody that you talk to that had the opportunity to do this professional development will report that across the board, implementing these resources has created huge improvements in engagement and grades and even test scores. We are all really excited and hopeful about the potential to have opportunities to continue our professional development through additional GLAD training and hopefully new GLAD opportunities for all the teachers or other teachers in our county so that we are better resourced to serve every student in our classroom. Thanks. Bye.
So, to share a little bit about the Be Glad, you have, we're just gonna kind of go through this. This is my template that I used at the mid-year update, but then I've updated it for the second semester and then taken the committee recommendations. But in regards, the first priority was the professional development, and you've heard a lot of Be Glad. These are some of the key points from the survey. I will note that all 27 of the participants completed the Be Glad training, which was phenomenal because it was intensive. And so was the information presented in the modules relevant to your daily practice? 100% of the participants said it was. The other thing that I'd like to point out was, would you recommend this training to a colleague who also works with EL students? And 96% said yes, they would. Some of the anonymous, like open-ended questions, like how it was helpful. They liked the way the information was presented. They found it easy to follow and enjoyed learning about the area of focus and then seeing a demonstration of it being used in the classroom. So there was overwhelming results of that. So what the recommendation of the committee was to continue with the Be Glad training modules. Their recommendation was to start that at a different time of the year. So looking at starting maybe in August and then going through the first semester, giving them a little longer programmatic time. We weren't able to get that all scheduled, so what we've done is sent out a survey to participants to get the interest of that so we know who to contact and reach out once we get it fully scheduled. The Be Glad also offers like the next steps for those that completed course 1, where they have some coaching and feedback and just continuing that work. So we'd like to continue that if the interest is there. So that's our plan for the next steps for that. Time for collaboration was the second priority. We continued with the EL Collaborative Monthly Meetings, February, March, and April. So our next steps are to continue and work to overcome challenges when itinerant EL teachers are serving multiple schools, how to make that function. So that's something we're still working on. We talked about the staff assignments. The positions are itinerant and staff have input, so that would be continued. Priority 3, lack of resources, awareness of resources, and the convenience of access to resources. So as a part of the new teacher program, we offered that training February the 5th, so that was completed. And then the committee felt that it might be beneficial to offer that same thing, because there's been a gap between when we've offered it, so we know that there are more seasoned teachers out there that could benefit from that training as well. So offer that for interested teachers. So we want to work to do that. And then the OneDrive folder that we were working on all year with putting the resources that we have that have those EL components to it. We finished that and met again with the EL teachers April 29th. Then we met with the curriculum department for input May 10th. And then we met with the EL committee on May 18th. And so what we'll do is we'll launch that OneDrive resource in the 25-26 school year, and I see my typo right there, that has links and snippets. One of the recommendations, because right now it's on one document, was our draft. They recommended separating it out by elementary, middle, and high school so that it's more concise for those teachers. So it will be ready to launch for the next school year. And then we want to communicate about that OneDrive resource, not only via emails and things like that, but also with the Harrison County Staff Insider, so everybody will know that. The next priority was secondary support systems for path to graduation. We'll continue and work for more ways to collaborate. The newcomer support program, we have 3 EL teachers attending the June 26th newcomer conference, so we'll continue to look at program model for the 26-27 year for development, since we did not get that one started. We've accomplished a lot this school year, but that's just something that we couldn't get under. You got to do some research with that, so that's what we're doing. Again, continue with the Be Glad training, although it's not mandatory, we want to continue that. And then to explore and clearly define policy and guidelines with pathway options. So we had some formal training. Mrs. Knight did some training with the principals on February the 11th, talking about the different pathways, CTE programs that EL students could take advantage of. And she also developed a chart that not only helps principals know what courses that they need, but also she shared that with our EL teachers that work with secondary students so that they could help monitor and be an advocate for the students as well. And then she shared it with the counselors. So we'll continue to review and update those pathways annually. The next priority was lack of awareness and clarity of the special education process for EL students involving all stakeholders. We will continue to review and update those pathways annually with principals and counselors so everybody's aware. The mandatory trainings for all schools on their processes for identifying and educating EL special education students, that we need to develop next school year. So that's our step for next year as well. And then develop a resource or guidebook for both schools and EL families to guide them through the process of school, language, acquisition, and support. We will, as we said earlier, at the middle of the year, do that. We'll continue the Working with Families training that we always conduct annually to include EL families. We're going to attempt that Navigating Together EL Family session. Try that again in September with reaching out different ways. And then the committee recommended developing a resource or a guidebook for families so that they would know that. So that's something to work on next year as well. So that's our update. Any questions?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
My director at Fairmont State and Bridgeport High School graduate, majoring in Spanish, are working on translating documents for Fairmont State University for incoming students.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so,
Oh, that's great.
yeah, it's part of his capstone.
Oh, great.
I'd like to say, as you get ready to go into retirement, on behalf of the board, I'd like to thank you for all the work and the time that you put into it over the years to make our programs better and help our kids. It's a lot of times it's a thankless job, and I just feel that you need to be thanked.
Thank you very much. Time flies when you're having fun. Thank you.
Enjoy retirement.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I guess, Cupcake's not here yet.
Yeah.
We can move that when she arrives.
Okay.
Come back to that. Delegations? All right, superintendent's update.
Sure, I just have a few things. I would like to, that was at the top of my list, to recognize Lola on her retirement, and the federal program's not an easy job. There's a lot of funding that comes through that, a lot of things on her plate, so we are going to have a hole to fill. We're going to miss you and appreciate all the work that you've done in all the programs, all the parts of that. Also, while I'm on a roll, I'll just go ahead and recognize Julie. She will not like that, Mrs. Mancini, for her work. It might say elementary curriculum, but she really does a lot more than that. It's just about anything that, comes by our offices and anybody coming through the door. So It's a big job, another one that's going to be hard to fill, but we appreciate that, all that you've done. And of course, Jim Kirby, we didn't make Jim Kirby come tonight. So that was his thanks. Of course, we had a little bit of celebration here yesterday for the three of them, because they are definitely big jobs and not going to be easy to fill. So we appreciate them so much for all of that. So thank you. And then I want to, while I'm talking about congratulations, I think the last time we said it was the last week for seniors. Well, they're out. So everybody that got to attend the graduation from our 4 high school, really 5 high schools with United, what a positive time of the year when you can see all the hard work and everything come to fruition, and the kids getting those diplomas and thinking about their years in Harrison County schools or wherever they may have started or finished. But what a pleasure it is to do that, and thank you for the board members that have got to attend some of the graduations. Some of them were kind of wet. Some of them were, it just depended on where you happened to be. Some were indoors, and so we did have indoor graduations with air conditioning in a couple of the gyms, so that was nice. So just can't say enough about just finishing a year with seniors. You watch them grow up and get to this milestone, and then they move on and they have another milestone, and they'll have more and more to come. So congratulations to them and their families and all of that. Also to all of the schools that have finished. They're done today. And so our staff, and another year well done. It's not always easy if you work in any of our school systems, and now the work is beginning on the buildings. We're already preparing to get that summer work done and get those buildings cleaned and ready for the next school year. So it never really stops, but at least there's a small break for the students and for the 200-day staff that's been putting in such a hard time. They're not easy jobs, and we appreciate each and every one of them. And so hopefully you can get some rest this summer. We appreciate it. Summer school, let's talk about summer a little bit. Our numbers have gone up a little bit. We have 84 in elementary. Middle school's growing, it's 14. And then high school's really blossomed. It's went to 51. Of course, that's credit recovery, and we've just finished grades. We just finished that coursework, so that number is actually increasing. This time of year right now is we're doing a lot of, at the schools, if you were familiar with end-of-year reports, those go somewhere. I always wondered when I did them in the school where they went. Well, they come here. So we can get them all ready to get sent to the State Department. But, I did it at the school level and just, hey, I did my part, but we get them all here. So that's it's a busy time here to prepare, and we're working in finance. Will be closing out the books for the year, and you'll be having some end-of-the-year meetings to do that. But it never really stops. We've got a busy summer preparing, and we're already looking at, principals meetings and things coming up and picking dates for that. So a lot happening still. So, but just wanted to say much appreciation to everybody, and congratulations to our retirees. So that's really all I have. Thank you.
There's nothing yet, we haven't had a meeting yet.
Next Monday, they moved it to Monday, yeah. Oh, Mr. Cossack, do you have an update on facilities? I asked him upstairs, and
I've got a couple things. I had a good day yesterday. Yesterday we had a scheduled plan for professional learning development day for our bus drivers, but I was able to take the time to go to every terminal to meet with them for a little over an hour. Got them busy doing some other things like pre-tripping their bus, cleaning the windows, making sure the insides were cleaned up. Master switches were turned off, especially the ones in the park in the summer. So it was a good opportunity for me to get out, and I think every terminal had a little bit of snacks there, and everybody's trying to feed me as I went around. And we ended the day around noon yesterday with a pretty large picnic to honor our 7 retirees that we have. One of our bus drivers basically brought a smoker and paid for all the meat and paid for the plaques and did everything. So I didn't know he did all that on his own, Jason McMillan. So when I see him next time, I'm going to give him some money to help support the event. But yesterday was a really good day. We have, thanks to you guys, we have received 4 brand-new school buses, 2 internationals and 2 Bluebirds. We're still waiting on 2 more Bluebirds, which are special needs buses. And those are important. As we know, our special needs population is growing, and it's important to have the extra buses, even a couple spares in the event that we have more students that we need to pick up. Training, we've got 5 sub-drivers in training. We've got 3 more queued up, so that gives me 8 if they all make it through, and I've got 7 drivers retiring. So I'm gonna have 1 sub as of now, if those numbers stay the same in August. So we hope not to park buses, but every now and then we will. And I'm even gonna go out on a limb and get my own training and certification so I can drive a bus, try to get that done before the start of the school year. Not that I wanna drive a bus, but I'll have to keep my skills up. But I think it'll go a long way with our drivers knowing that I know what they go through. So I wanna make sure I try to get that done. We've got our 26, 27 schedules ready to go out. We'll probably still have to tweak those a little bit after we talk with drivers and they do dry runs on their runs to make sure everything's okay. As far as facility updates, even though school's out, it's time for us to get busy. We've got $62,000 worth of flooring we got to put down. All the schools, hard floors, hard surfaces need to be stripped and waxed. That summer work programs will start next week. And we've got many facility projects that are part of our facility projects budgeting that are getting underway right now. RCB's moving along fairly well. We got rained out a few days last week with all the raining and flooding. Bridgeport Middle School, secure entrance is out to bid. As soon as we get that, we'll get that in. We've got a substantial completion date of October 15th, mainly because of one item. It's the storefront, long lead items as far as getting those in. It's just impossible to get that storefront. But we'll be able to do most of the other work and have most of that done by the time school starts in August. Bridgeport High School, they've got some surveying they still have to do. I think most of it's done, surveying for underground utilities and things like that. And then I think our team, as well as the architect and the Bridgeport High School team, we're going to have to regroup and look at plans based on what the survey tells us for that phase 1 and phase 2. I've already reached out to McKinley to let them know that we need to regroup and have another meeting very, very soon. Commodities and services, we've got several that are going back out to bid because we didn't receive any bids the first time. That's for HVAC parts, plumbing parts and materials, and for maintenance equipment as far as inspection and service for our big maintenance equipment that we have, like our backhoes and excavators and things like that. So those will come in at the end of this month, and we've got some other bids that are going to be going out. Paving for United High School, we've got some work to do up at RCB as far as resealing and taking care of some bad areas of that parking lot. And I don't know if the board knows, but that major loop that goes around RCB in the front around the teachers' parking lot is owned by the state road. We own the parking lots, we own everything else, but the loop, the bus loop itself, is owned by the state road. So I got in touch with them about the needed repairs, and of course, that's when all the flooding was happening. Probably a bad time to call them, but I'm going to stay on them to see if we can get them to repair that.
Yeah.
It's wonky, it really is.
Vaguely remember that, but will they pay that then? The whole?
What's theirs?
Uh-huh.
I contacted Jason Lane with the city of Parksburg, and he used to work for the state, and he called me back. He said, Jamie, the state of West Virginia owns that loop.
Right.
So,
Interesting.
and that's about it. That's a lot of work. We're staying busy doing a lot of things, and I also wanted to just make a statement because we are having quite a few people retire. We've got some positions that we're not filling. But, you know, we always, again, hear the bad stuff, the complaints about this person or that person. But if you think about the number of kids that we transported this year, and no wrecks that ended up in any kind of major injury. Yeah, there were fights and some stuff like that we had to deal with. But the hours spent on the road that we pick up and deliver those kids safely, it's pretty phenomenal what we do. It's pretty phenomenal that our custodians keep these schools clean the way they do. And it's pretty phenomenal that we've got, I think, a pretty good maintenance team, some really good skilled labor that really know what they're doing, and they do us a really good job. We've got a lot of great people out there, and I think we just need to remember that. That's it.
Thank you. There is an update on the South Harrison turf too. We did get, they asked for permission to do perk and soil tests.
And some
Oh,
core
and
drilling.
and some core drilling, so that agreement's been completed. I mean, we had an agreement between Ascent, they're doing that pro bono, I believe. They're helping the school out there, so we just wanted a formal agreement saying they were allowed to get on that property and do those tests. So I appreciate you working with Mr. Simmerman to get that so quickly. We'll get that signed and get Ascent to sign that, so that should be official. I think that's the start of it, right? We've had a meeting, Mr. Devano was there, and we had Ms. Kynes in the meeting, so we've got a plan in place to start moving forward with that project. Got a great partner in Hope. Can't say enough about Hope. Yep. So, thank you, Mr. Costa. That's
Thank
all
you.
I have.
Move on to new business. Sorry, consent items. We'll move on to consent items. Is there a motion to accept the consent items as presented by the superintendent?
I so move.
Is there a second? Is there any discussion on consent items? All,
I'm sorry. Is that the whole number of pre-K? Is that all of the pre-K?
Would that just be the ones out of
It would be our in-county.
county? Yeah.
County ones we have not.
I hope not.
Well, that's what I was,
Yes, we have done out of county, because our in-county kids are first. We try to take care of them first. And the letters for all pre-K went out first. So that's why this is on here.
Okay.
Because those people want their letters too. If not, they will just go from place to place to place. Chase them all summer long.
right, I just wanted to make sure that there was more than
There will be
that's
more.
on this list.
Yes, there will be more. Yes,
Thank
as
you.
long as there's space, there will be.
okay. No further questions? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. New business, out-of-state travel study request. You have in front of you, you have in front of you the request to approve the out-of-state travel study presented by the superintendent. Is there a motion? So moved. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have 26-27 Newsela subscription renewal. You have in front of you Newsela subscription renewal. Is there a motion to approve this renewal license and issue a purchase order in the amount of $140,100?
I so move.
Second? Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Tucker?
Are the schools using this?
Yes, you actually have
Oh, I
an
see the
administrative thing, like
see
the, because we monitor the usage, because I want to make sure we are using it for the funding
Yes.
with that, and so yes, I monitor it every year. Yes,
Where does the funding come from?
it's Title IV funding.
Further questions, topics of discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Old Vision, we have the proposed changes, approve the changes to the dental and vision plan document as presented. Is there a motion to approve?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I just wanted to make clear with Mrs. Kynes, if I remember the gentleman that was here last time, he said they're going to be offering the whole VSP, right?
Yeah, the full, that's what this plan is moving us to, a full VSP, their best plan that they have.
Okay, and is it going to cost our employees more?
They're, in the long, who knows?
Okay.
Because they have allowances and there's co-payments.
Okay,
Mr. Abels went over, so for an exam, for a co-pay, if you go to a network provider, if you remember the thing that they had for public view, if you go to a network provider, you have a $10 exam copay. $25 material copay. And then whenever you go to, so then the well vision exam would be covered for an in-network provider. If you go to an out-of-network provider, that's down at the bottom, they will pay up to $45 to the out-of-network provider. So if you choose to go to an out-of-network provider, the person may be paying a little bit more for that. But then when they go to get their glasses, if you go to Sam's or like Walmart or iMart Express right now, and there's a bunch of other ones, Dove Eye and Spectrum and I don't know, some other ones. They're full VSP people, VSP network people, so when you go there, you'll be able to get your glasses and then you will only pay the copay. The rest of it, they'll take care of.
Okay,
So it should streamline that process for our employees.
okay, thank you.
And then additionally, you qualify for discounts off things, which you don't get otherwise.
Okay.
Any further discussion or questions? Remind me when our open enrollment is again. Have we gone through, when is our open enrollment?
April 1st through May 15th.
Okay, so we're ahead. Okay. All right, if there are no further discussions, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, this brings us down to personnel matters with a personnel addendum. You have in front of you the recommendations by the superintendent. Is there a motion to approve the personnel agenda with the personnel addendum as presented by the superintendent?
I so move.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on personnel?
Yeah, I don't know, somewhere along the way, to me, it seems like things have got out of control in regard to the volunteer coaching situation. That every sport, at one time, they was allowed to have one volunteer, and now, looking over the personnel sheet, it seems like we're getting 3 and 4, people volunteering. I thought that there was a limit, and I think this limit just keeps growing. It's almost to a point, it seems like there is no control over the number of volunteer coaches or volunteer help, with it. And I think that we need to, at some point through now in the summer, that we need to take a look at volunteer coaching, number of coaches, for each sport. I just think that first thing you know, you got 4 or 5 extra people on the sideline with a coach, a head coach, an assistant coach, and if it's a high school, usually the freshman coach is there too. And then all of a sudden you throw in 4 or 5 volunteers. I mean, you got a sideline of people that, to me, it ends up making things a little chaotic. Just, having done this, for several years, yeah, you need some extra help, but sometimes you get too much extra help. And I think it becomes kind of confusing, not only to the coaches, but also to the players themselves, that, who to listen to, And I just think that I think there has to be, we have to scrutinize how many volunteer coaches we're gonna have and allow, Because, you may say, well, we're gonna have 2, allow 2 here. Well, then all of a sudden, you go, and then there's 4 and 5. I think the administrators and athletic directors are gonna have to step up and, control that situation and, the role that each of these people are gonna, input and all that they're gonna do. And, I go back to the old volunteer a volunteer means volunteer that you know that you're not going to be compensated for the job, you know. So I think that if we start, at some point, if we start compensating volunteers, it'll get totally out of control, and everybody will want to be compensated for what they're doing. And so I think, you know, we gotta look at the term volunteer, and before the season starts, they know what their role is, and that they're not going, they gotta know that they're not going to be compensated for it.
But don't we have a limit, like if they have over 20?
We have an administrative guideline that
Yeah.
each sport and how many volunteers, and Mrs. Harvard in person, I mean, she watches that, like when they come in, the numbers, before we would put them on an agenda. So, because they have to have background checks, I mean, they do the same
Yeah.
process, yeah. So we have that, but we have increased them in,
Well, I think we're gonna have to
over
look,
the years, for some sports.
well, I think we need to go year to year and look at, you know, rather than just put a flat number, okay, that you can have 3 or 4 or whatever.
I
just
think it was based on athletes, though.
It's based on,
The
right now, it's based on the
It's-
numbers of students.
Yeah.
You know,
Mr. Tucker, you had a question?
well,
My comment is the fact that who sends in the request for the volunteers?
Yeah.
It would be, yes, it would be coming from the principal, and it isn't, I don't think, like this, the volunteers are sending those in. So that goes back to the administrators to make those decisions, I would think, right off. I mean, that they shouldn't, if they don't want 5, then they don't get 5. That's coming from them, so.
I do understand what both of you are saying. I do think that from a standpoint of offering position process, we have to have a guideline for them to follow. From a, you know, if we have the administrative guideline that says, you know, and we have input in that, we should have input in that. If we have 10 volunteers per, I don't know, 100 kids, I'm just arbitrary number, right? That's something that we can look at and discuss. I don't think that's a problem at all.
well, whenever we get together then and, you know, before school starts and we get ready to go, that I think that ought to be on your list, that we spend some little bit of time with this and everything. But, I mean, you know, like I said, volunteer, it means you know that you're not gonna get compensated for it. And, I mean, I was in the school system as a teacher for 30-some years, and I coached a lot of sports, and I never got compensated for it, because basically, I ended up being on the staff and volunteering to help with the sports and the guidelines, knowing that I wasn't going to get paid, but I put in as much time as the guy that was a head coach, the assistant coach that was getting paid, and I knew that going in, that I wasn't going to get compensated for it. And, you know, I didn't do it for that, I did it for the kids that, you know, was there. I think sometimes we, that causes loss, you know, loss on some people is to, you know, because a lot of times people say, oh, I want to volunteer, and they volunteer while their child is participating, and as soon as their child moves on or graduates or whatever, they no longer, you know, they don't no longer volunteer.
Well, that's probably understandable too, though.
Huh?
That's probably understandable too, if they've done it 4 years, for instance, or 3 years, or whatever it may have been.
Yeah, but if you know, there's a lot of people that, when they volunteer, they become lifers. They volunteer till, you know, 10 years, 20 years, whatever, and all. So, I'd just like to see us put some fence around it, and, you know, I mean, yeah, you need help. I mean, I know, I coached with Coach Paul Snyder, the big guy, and we had, and Frankie knows, he played there, we'd have 88 kids in football, for junior high football, middle school, junior high then, and there was 2 coaches, him and me. He knew a lot about football. I didn't know a lot about football, but we, was able to work with those kids. And I mean, you lined them up, 88 kids, and you had so many on defense, and you worked with them in units, groups of 8 or 10, and you got through it. We got through practice. Frankie knows that. He was part of that, and like I said, and we didn't have any volunteer help, so.
One thing I will say, and I'm not to discount what you're saying, there is value in the volunteer coaches.
Oh, yeah.
I do think that there's value there. I mean, look at what we've got just this week, right, at the state tournament. We've got Lincoln, Bridgeport High School, and Robert C. Byrd High School, all at the state baseball tournament. We had, state champions in last week for track and field, football, basketball. So I do think, and there's a lot of volunteer coaches that put time and effort into that. And I can't help but think that that might help when it comes down to some of that. Now, I understand what you're saying. Is there a cutoff? We should have a cutoff. We should probably limit the amount of coaching, volunteer coaching that we allow. You don't want to have too many cooks in the kitchen, right, so to speak. But I think that should be noted as well. The volunteer coaches do play a part, and we have a lot of athletic success in Harrison County. And our student athletes are some of the top in the state. And, I can't help but think that the volunteer coaches don't play some kind of a role in that. But I agree with you. I'm willing to look at the amount of volunteer coaches that we have.
And it looks
Like I
like,
said,
it
I have
looks
no
like the
problem.
volunteer coaches actually have to go through SSAC certification.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not just your normal volunteer.
No, you're not
So-
walking in.
Well, the
So they
safety
are
thing-
like certified for the SSAC, from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, the state stepped in because it kind of got rampant in the state, so now they have to take classes, and they have to.
Background checks.
Background checks and things of that nature there. But I just say, I think that, everybody and his brother says, hey, I want to take the test. They take the test, well, I'm certified. Well, okay, you get a certification, but how difficult is it to get certified, So I just think that there has to be parameters put in place. And then when Joe Schmo leaves and somebody else wants to volunteer, then they can step up and become a volunteer and, because they take the test and learn the program and everything. So,
I do think everything needs guardrails.
yeah.
Yeah, I do think everything needs guardrails.
Because, let's face it, as board members, we don't want to get outside the guardrails, or the state may come in and have a chit chat with us as regard to,
I have a question on the third grade interventionist. When that goes away, how many does that leave there?
For which school?
Well,
What are you talking about? It's the overflow classroom, that's the additional one, because there's no fourth grade just for that 1 year.
Okay.
Okay. Any further comments or discussion?
Yeah, just one.
Yes.
Under professional recommendation there, C, second name down, I was just wondering if that was a little questionable. That was my attempt at a funny one. I get one in every once in a while.
That's close.
Yeah, we could vote no.
That's
We could
close.
vote no.
That's a close one we want to kind of keep
There you
Yeah.
go.
away from. Yeah. All right, no further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, brings us down to suspension of employee A.
I move pursuant to 69A42 of the West Virginia Code that the board go into executive session to discuss personnel matters, which, if discussed in public, might affect adversely the reputation of any person.
The executive personnel motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second?
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Executive session.
We almost made it, yeah.
Is there a motion to return from executive session?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. This brings us down to legal and disciplinary matters. Is there a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation as presented for 3-day unpaid suspension for John Richmond?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, brings us down to our BHS and RCB WVU sponsor contracts. So you have those in front of you, and I was trying to look through, well, let's ask for a motion. Is there a motion to accept the?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, is there any discussion? Yes. I wanted to go through and look at them, the ones we have versus the ones that we have online, or on our,
Hard copy.
yes, on our agenda.
Are they supposed to be the same?
Well, that's what I wanted to double check. Yeah, this is the Bridgeport one. You have the Bridgeport one in front of you and Bridgeport one also online. Then the RCB, we
Yes.
don't have a copy of the RCB in front of us. The RCB is online, RCB contract. So I just was wanting to know if there were any major changes from what the original one had. And I had seen a couple of small lines. But I do have some information. This is only pertaining to the high school, right? This is not pertaining to the middle school whenever they have their games there, or it doesn't pertain to any of the outside organizations like the Pee Wee, the little Pee Wee minis, and Bridgeport youth football, or any of the other stuff. It only pertains to the high school.
Do you know if the school or their committee had any concerns about the contract?
No, actually, I don't think they did. To be honest, I think that, from what my understanding is, there were some concerns here on our level, but to my understanding, the school is okay with it, as well as there had been some discussion back and forth between the athletic director and,
WVU?
yeah, and our purchasing and WVU, or WVU Medicine. So,
Yeah.
it's my understanding that they're happy with it the way that it is.
Did you have any concerns, Mrs. Kynes?
Just, okay, so just typically whenever we were not aware of this going on until it appeared a week or so ago. Typically, whenever you're going out for a services agreement such as this, think about the banking services agreement. We get some stuff. We advertised it so that we could see what they're going to give us in return, our interest rates, revenue generated. There's no evidence that any of that happened for this. So when the exclusivity clause, I'm like, well, the question is, was there a proposal put together to see what other health organizations want? You know, so maybe, you know, because they gave them, from what I understand, $25,000 in September without anything. Now they want to add on all this other money over time. However, when I first agreement that I saw, it said it was specifically for the scoreboard, to purchase the scoreboard and erect it and all of that good stuff. Well, they have to pay for all that cost up front. They can't spread that over time, so they're going to have to run that sub-account in the negative, which violates policy 1224.1. They can't put.
What account? Their athletic levy fund account?
Their school funds. It's 100, the board approved for them to use 100% of their school funds. They were then responsible for making sure that they issued the purchase order. And they said that there were some sponsorships out there, and they just hadn't collected the money yet. But they had enough money in their school board account, which is one account number, sub-account number, and combined with their general athletic account number, had enough money to pay for the scoreboard. So to issue that purchase order, they were gonna have to use both of those pieces. Well, as the money came in, I said you could change your purchase order up into, and move this, if you got another $10,000 in from a donation or whatever, you could then go in and change your purchase order and take it from, put the money back in take it from the scoreboard account before you start making a payment. Once you make a payment, there's no modification of that PO that can be done. So let's just say that this plan goes out and say it's 3 years or 3 or 4 years out on payments. And so they got the 25,000, that's all good. And say next year they're supposed to give them another whatever it is. Well, they've already spent the money out of those funds. The agreement says it's for the scoreboard. You can't put it back in that scoreboard fund, that donation fund, because the scoreboard's already been paid for.
So,
So the question truly is it a sponsorship for the scoreboard, or is it really an advertising service that has been sold?
Well, I mean,
And it looks more like it's an advertising service after that initial
an
25.
advertising service for $100,000.
Over several years, because it goes
of
through
5
30,
years.
31.
5 years.
Yeah.
2031, yes,
Yeah,
2031.
and it's 25,000, it says $25,000 has already been paid.
Without
35.
Without ever having an
Right,
agreement.
30, well, and what I will say is regarding the agreement, you mentioned the banks earlier, right? We are putting that out because we are spending public funds on the contracts with those banks.
All of the money.
This is a donation.
All of the money coming into a school system is public funds, as
I
soon as it's
understand,
deposited.
but this money is coming from non-taxpayer money. Right, so this is donated money.
What do we pay for our banking services?
Yeah.
We don't pay anything out.
What are our interest rates, or what are you
We
talking
don't
about?
pay that out.
No,
That's
I
money
agree,
coming
we
in,
don't
yeah.
pay it out, right, but we have to put it out, we have to put it out for bid. But this is not a bid situation, this is a donation. The
but the
banks don't donate.
should it
their-
have been a bid situation?
No, I
That's-
don't believe it
that's
should
the
have.
The
That's-
question is,
that's
with the
my-
exclusivity clause is the issue there, I believe.
Yeah, so I
And
am,
the fact that you can't run a fund into the negative and then put the money back later.
I will give you that, right? But I'm not in agreement with you on the donation money.
Well, why couldn't they just give all the money up front?
I mean,
Then that
that's,
solves,
you know,
that solves
solves
the
they're giving,
problem with
they're
leaving
giving
it.
25, they've already paid 25,000. They're giving 35,000 by June 30th, if the agreement is signed. And then 20,000 will be paid next year by March 31st. And then,
But that's another fiscal year.
yeah, 20,000 will be paid by 28.
So then you've got the 30,000, the 25,000, 55,000 that's earmarked for the scoreboard purchase and installation that has already occurred. They didn't,
So
that's the issue.
the fund, you're saying that the donated money cannot be put back into the scoreboard fund?
If they were want to do that, they would have to actually allocate it out towards the sub-account for which it would be for, because they can't pay for it out of the scoreboard sub-account fund, because there's not enough money in that account.
Why is there a scoreboard fund?
Sub-account, that's the way that they're actually collecting donations, and when you collect donations earmarked for a specific purpose, you're supposed to have a separate sub-account for that, to track that money.
Could they put it in their athletic fund?
It's not what the agreement says. The agreement says it's for the scoreboard.
Right, but the scoreboard's part of the athletic complex.
But it's,
Part of the athletic account.
but the problem with, we have the exclusivity thing is an issue.
Yeah, I don't see the
Now, there's
exclusivity
another
thing as an
agreement,
issue.
there's another agreement that came about with the health plan. And they did it was more of an advertising services agreement, looked very similar to that one. And it wasn't a real agreement. It was $5,000, they put their logo up, they run the advertising, 5,000 done. 1 year. So the question is those future years really the scoreboard, or is it advertising?
Well, I mean,
But make it
what are all the other
advertising.
people that are advertising
They're-
their signs around each high school doing?
They're putting it into, so the baseball field,
Yeah.
those little signs, that goes into the baseball sub-account,
Okay?
because that's what the fundraiser was for that. The
So the
fundraiser
people
for the
that-
scoreboard was put out to purchase a scoreboard.
So the businesses
need
that
to have
have
all the money up
signs, the businesses that have signs on the press boxes, around the fences, okay? What are their, are they advertising or are they donating?
Those are advertisements.
Okay, so what's the difference in their advertising and our advertising?
There's no,
Or the advertising
that's
here.
not an advertising, they're saying for this donation, we're gonna get this advertising slots. But they're saying it has to be used for the purchase of the scoreboard.
Could,
And what's that?
Yeah.
could
I
they,
don't-
could
right,
they
they're-
change the contract to scoreboard and advertising?
They could do that, but the
well,
problem
then
is, and then the $55,000 could then go back into the general athletic account instead of the scoreboard account,
Mr. President.
which
Yeah.
is where they paid for part of the
Yeah.
scoreboard.
I'm trying to
does it mean
understand the difference between any other donation to the school and this donation to the school.
Okay, so the donation is, you get the money now, you can spend it now. This one is, we're not getting the money all now.
Okay, we're getting part of the money now.
In other words, if they would have gave the 100,000 upfront,
I've been put in the scoreboard account, exactly right.
exactly, paid for it all upfront, even if they're gonna have a 5-year, advertising thing, that's fine. But they needed to give the 100,000 first before.
If it's going to be for the purchase of the scoreboard.
Why?
What,
Because you can't run a score, that's what I was saying. You can't run in a sub-account into the negative. They
So-
put out the fundraiser that they put out was to purchase a scoreboard.
Right.
so why can't the school put the money in the scoreboard account? And what does it mean by branding of a new athletic scoreboard? Is branding advertising?
That's
Branding
branding.
is-
So therefore, then it is advertising money.
Right, but it's all advertising. Anytime you put a sign up in anywhere around the school, it's advertising.
But,
So I
But you get
don't-
that money every year for the advertising.
Yeah, I don't, that argument to me is not
But-
a good argument.
It-
The negative one, I'll give you the negative account argument all day long. If we can't, we can't run the fund into the negative, I
You
agree
can't
with you
run the
100%.
fund into the negative.
Yeah, so how is it that, Ms. Smith, your question?
The easiest way to solve it, and if we would have all brought it to us way back in September, whenever they started working on it, that they would have come to purchasing and asked the question, how can we do this? But that's not what happened. What we could have advised was, you say you've got money in your general athletic account, sub-account, and you've actually presented it to the board that you had that money plus the scoreboard account money to pay for the scoreboard. Because as the board approved, the purchase order is on the problem of the school to issue, okay? So, if they don't want to use all their general athletic money, which basically was take that money to be where they had very little general athletic money left, they could then, when they got that 30,000, they put that in the scoreboard, they could reduce the PO change the PO allocation to where they reduce the 30,000 off of the general athletic and increase it on the side of the scoreboard. Then what they could do is they've changed that contract, tweak that contract a little bit, and say that those other payments are for advertising when they come in. That could go into the general athletic account, paying back the general athletic. Right now, it says it's for scoreboard purchase.
So the scoreboard purchase that we authorized for the $225,000, all right, that's coming, the $110,000 is coming from the scoreboard account.
When you pull up you have to go back to the last agenda when it was approved, and there was I think it was 110,000. But I think they got another 5,000 recently.
They got another sponsorship from Hope as well.
So,
Mr. President, if we would, since we've seen this document, how long ago? Has it been 4 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago.
2
We've
weeks.
seen this,
2
this
weeks.
isn't news to me
2 weeks
today.
ago.
It's before today, and certainly had time to have made a correction to this and to get with these folks. That's why public gets bent out of shape out there, and I can understand it. You got somebody wanting to donate money, and we've got all this red tape tied up in this. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I know there's a way we can certainly figure out how to donate. I don't care what school it is. If somebody wants to donate $100,000 or $20,000 or $5,000, why do we want to tie them up
Simpson,
in all this? So if we have something here that needs corrected, then we need to get on this, get it corrected, get with their people, get it corrected, and get it taken care of, and forget it. That's what we need to
I
do.
think initially, we don't even know who generated it. It came to us, we didn't even know where it came from. So we were trying to figure out who to even talk to.
Well, I
I
think we
still
should
don't know
start
who
with the
did it.
principal.
Bridgeport should know.
Then find out.
UHC, the high school knows, yeah.
Yeah,
Start there.
Well,
That's
you
that's
know-
what it's for.
yeah.
I agree with, you know.
But I think it's only been a couple weeks.
I think it comes to a point that we kind of got the cart before the horse. In other words, yes, we want this scoreboard, yes, we're going to get it, and before we ever had the money, or where the money was coming from,
Well, they
So-
had the money
you know. Where did they have it from?
in their account.
They've been
Okay,
saving.
Order it then.
That means,
That's what I'm saying.
that means the school.
Right, that's
that means the
what I'm
school-
trying to understand.
Yeah.
Why
That
can't
means
they
the
order it?
They can issue the purchase order.
The
We're
school's
out of
buy.
that. We're out of that. That's what, the purchase order is not, that's not being held up by us at all. That's, their school has to issue the purchase order.
They have to use their funds.
We had
Okay.
questions on the agreement.
Okay. The advertising agreement, right here. Is
Well,
it,
it's a sponsorship or an advertising?
I don't know, you
That-
told me it was
well, but
advertising.
No, I said it
But-
looks to be like advertising.
but it says
or
it's
a
sponsorship
split.
right here.
Right.
Right. So,
And then we get last week, I think it was last week, there was another one that appeared.
from RCB, which is why we had it, put it on there as well.
But it's really not, it's really an issue that whoever was working on this, if they should, when they started down the path of the scoreboard, they did one thing. They met with Joe, Mr. Sears met with Joe, our purchasing director, and said, we want to do this, how can we do this? And so she put them on to a purchasing cooperative for that piece of it. There was nothing said about any other agreements or anything until this appeared a couple of weeks ago. Simpson Elementary, they did a fundraiser on their playground. Beautiful fundraiser. They went out, they got sponsorships, they got donations. Guess what? All the money came in. Beautiful thing. There was never a discussion with myself or Mrs. Fratto that we were only going to get part of the money now and then part of the money later. If we could have been included, we could have helped maybe work through all of these pieces and all these questions well before we ever got an agreement shoved into our email boxes asking the superintendent to sign it, when there's things in there that seem a little off. Like, can we really give season tickets to someone for that? Can we give VIP room access to that? Can we sell exclusivity rights? You know, Hope Gas is wanting to donate a lot of money for South Harrison High School. They're not gonna put in there that people that don't have Hope Gas in their homes cannot play on that field.
No, but I think that they did want to put a little logo.
They're gonna put a
on the
logo on it,
field.
yes, that's absolutely
Right.
right. I have no problem with
What's
the
difference
logo on there.
between them putting a logo on Bridgeport's field?
I'd
That's
ask
not
them
the
what
problem.
size
The
and
problem
how
is
do
the
you spell
timing
it?
of the payments.
Yeah.
The
They
timing of the
just need to
payments.
pay the whole
Yes,
$100,000 up front and then go forward. You know, not, you know, I think, like I said, we're going to give you 25 now, we're going to give you
Sure, it's a
25.
tax thing, probably, more than likely, I don't.
Well,
Well, and if they give the 100 up
I
front
mean,
now, what
We're,
happens to Bird's
actually, we
I don't
25?
on the letter
think
and
WVU's
they can
waiting
use it
on
on.
their money from Hope, because they've named they put the
Well,
money
they
out.
split it for RCB
The other
too.
thing,
It's split in two
the only
payments,
conversation
too.
I had with Mr. Sears was, because he wanted to put the thing on the board agenda for their approval, because it's over 100,000, you guys have to approve it. And he said, I don't have all the money yet, I've got pledges. And I said, well, pledges until you have the money, and he says, well, we can put in use the general athletic account. And Mrs. Matthews agreed to that, and I said, okay. So then I was like, well, so then I explained what was gonna have to happen and how they were gonna have to track it, as they got the additional donations in, and he says, let's defer it. So we deferred it for 2 weeks, hoping that he would get the rest of the money in. And then he didn't get any more money in between that 2-week time period.
I know they've gotten quite a few donations in
Well,
the last 2 weeks.
Okay, but we deferred putting it on the board agenda till the one that you actually saw it, because he was expecting more donations to come in, and they had not come to fruition.
Okay,
He never once mentioned anything about this weird agreement thing.
Well, here, my whole thing is the scoreboard is not functioning. They need a new scoreboard.
Oh, they can
So-
issue the purchase order,
Okay,
with or without this agreement.
okay.
That's the
So
whole
Just
thing.
means-
They can issue the
what
purchase
if
order with or
just means
without
WB
that
this.
Medicine
WVU
comes in
can't
and says,
be
okay,
the-
I'm going to give you this
Well,
now?
they could.
Until-
WVU could
until
be
we-
the sponsor.
If they give the 100,000.
Right, that's what I'm trying to figure out. This is not, is this agreement dependent upon them getting the scoreboard?
They said they had the money to buy the scoreboard. So I don't understand why that would be holding up the issuance of their purchase order when they said they had the money to the
So-
board and the board approved them to issue it.
My second question is, why are we having a hard time accepting $100,000? I mean,
There were questions in there.
I get the questions, I understand
Too
some
many
of the questions.
stipulations.
I'm sure you
I
had.
understand the questions, and I read through it, and I've spoken with a couple of people that, at the school level, that don't have any issues with it. And it's my understanding that this was sent down to the state, correct, to review, and that the state came back and said, the only thing that might be, we want to look at is the 5-year agreement. Now, from the 5-year agreement standpoint, I can understand not encumbering a board to purchases. This isn't a purchase. This
But
is a
it's
donation.
But it's a 5-year agreement. The only reason it's a 5-year agreement is because they have exclusivity for 5 years, and they are being guaranteed advertising space for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you are making you're setting a requirement on future boards and future administration.
I understand that, but that doesn't have anything to do with taxpayer dollars. To my understanding, that is the issue. If the taxpayer dollars, we can't spend
Whenever
money with encumbering another board. We can't put any kind of monetary responsibility on future boards.
We can't enter any agreements that go beyond. So that's what I said. There's a couple ways you can do it. The ways is they give you the 30,000, that goes to scoreboard, they change the other payments for advertising.
But it does say branding.
Branding, no, the branding is just the logo.
Isn't that advertisement?
No, they're talking about the 30-second
WVU
clips,
Medicine. They wanna
the
put-
30-minute clips, the 30-second clips.
They're gonna run-
The
Oh.
access
The
to.
message to the 30-second messages.
Yes.
When they do this,
Yes,
when
the
they speak.
halftime stuff, all the other pieces, yes.
Right, right.
Branding is the stamp, just like that up there is our brand.
And
Anytime
then
of
if
that,
we
that's
had
branding.
a
I
spot
also
where
heard now,
we put, if we have a
this
spot.
goes forward,
Now,
the
listen, I'm
baseball
not
program
familiar with
now
this
wants
agreement
to-
like Jill is.
get a video scoreboard. That being, now, if they're gonna spend money on the football one, then they better be able to find the money to
Title
pay
IX.
upfront to
Listen,
pay
if
for
they
the
can get a
baseball.
$100,000 sponsorship for the baseball scoreboard, why not?
If they get 100,000, if they come in tomorrow, they're at the hospital.
What
Wait a
needs to
minute,
be done?
let me see.
They
We
need,
can- Let them come in tomorrow, let them come in tomorrow, write Bridgeport High School $100,000 check for their new scoreboard. And the thing then, you get a purchase order together and you get it ordered because it's already paid for and it's done.
But it's already paid for. We already approved the money to order the scoreboard.
the school can
Play ball.
issue the
Right.
purchase
Right.
order.
So
This
this-
agreement has nothing to
Nothing
do
to do
with
with
the school, with the abilities, the school's ability to issue that purchase order. So if the purchase
Yes.
order is not issued, I have no idea why.
Okay. All right. So in my opinion,
But it would make it cleaner if they would change it to sponsorship/advertising, future advertising.
I believe that at this point, we need to have somebody work with the school immediately
I think we ought to table this.
to get this
I
done.
think this ought to be tabled until at such time that,
They can still
that
order the
you could,
already have the purchase
okay, they have a purchase order, but that you could, but at least everybody knows what direction the administration and the board here, I mean, we can't go out here and give agreement to buy something that, what happens if a year down the road or 2 years down the road, they say, well, we no longer want to be part of that. All of a sudden, where's that money that they had promised is not there. I think the money
You
has
mean
to be,
WVU says they don't want to be a part of it?
you know, I'm just saying, they could.
It is, it's listed in here. Yeah, there's clauses in here about whether or not we honor the agreement and whether or not they honor the agreement.
I just think that it ought to be tabled till you can sit down with the administration that have started moving forward, make sure that, you know, if we can't do it this way, that they're willing to spend their athletic funds.
But that's what they already put, it's what we already put in the board agenda, that's what the board already voted on. So I'm not even sure why this agreement is being discussed.
So in other words, we shouldn't even
Because
have
of
gotten this
the
far.
trouble that we're having with it right now.
Well,
That's why I wanted
there's
to
been no
discuss.
there's been no
Because somebody
really
wants to give us
communication.
$100,000 and we can't accept it.
That's not what we said. We needed more information. I don't think there's been enough communication between the school administration and our purchasing department and the administration here, so we even knew that this was coming.
Let's,
Okay, but it is here, and we know it's here, and it's coming, it's already here.
let's,
So what are we doing?
All right, we've got a motion on the floor to accept these contracts. So if there's a vote to accept them, then we accept it. If there's a vote to not accept it, then we look at something else. Or if there's a vote with enough support to table it, then we do that.
I think.
That's the only three options we've got.
I'd rather table and get all the details worked out before we, with the school and us.
And we do have some additional
Before we
meetings
go
this
and-
month.
I don't want to step out in the water and drown.
I understand,
I mean, that's why I say if we table, bring the heads together, bring them here into the meeting.
Is
so
2
we know
weeks going to
what-
be enough time to resolve it? Because we
If we
have
can
table
get-
it this meeting, it has to be acted on next.
It has to be acted on next. The problem we're running into, that I understand it to be, is if they don't order it within the next 2 weeks, then they're not going to get it by this.
But they can order it
They all
according
have to do is
her.
issue a purchase order and order it.
That's exactly why I'm.
And you've already approved them to do that. They already said that they were putting up all their funds. This agreement has nothing to do with their ability to issue the purchase order and order the items.
Okay, and the purchase order is not something that they have to pay in full immediately, correct?
No.
Okay.
It's whenever it's installed. That's why I said
Installed.
we can
Yeah,
get all
but-
this worked out.
Okay.
Which
This
it-
has
when it's
nothing to
installed, they
do
have to
with the ordering
pay
of
them
the equipment.
$100,000 to the company.
Okay.
So we
I-
could table this. I have one question before we finish. Is RCB able to order its board?
They've
First
already
of all,
got theirs.
RCB is not ordering the board. It was
RCB's already
supposed to
got
be-
theirs.
It was supposed to be donated by the Friends of Baseball.
And it's
Okay.
up in operation.
So I don't know,
And it's-
this one came, this other agreement came and it's got Friends of Baseball / Harrison County and now that's very problematic because there's two separate organizations and one can't bound the other one for something else, for another piece.
But it has nothing to do with them to get their scoreboard.
They've already got their score.
Okay, well,
Up
then,
and then operation.
See the
then I
problem
say
with
we
that?
table
WVU
it.
Medicine wants to
See the
give
problem
RCB
with that?
$25,000.
All right.
Yeah, they want to give them an additional $25,000. So, all right.
Call the question.
All right, so at this point in time, there's a motion on the floor to approve the contract.
Oh, okay.
There's a motion to approve the contract. If there's any other motion that would need to be made, we would have to accept it at that point. So if there is a motion to table, then we would go to that point if there's enough people that want to support it.
I so move we table.
There's been a motion to table this item. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Well, I think we still have a discussion.
Oh,
on-
yeah, if you want to have a
Yeah, that's-
discussion, yes, have a discussion on
Okay.
tabling it.
Exactly. The discussion part that I would question then, so this has absolutely nothing to do with these folks moving forward as of tomorrow morning, if they
That's-
wanted to do that.
That's what I'm trying, that's
And
what I'm trying to ask.
exactly. And this, tabling this, just gives them an opportunity to get to meet where it needs to be in this contract, to be, quote, legal for everybody. I could only imagine whenever they say, we're gonna donate you $25,000, and they say, well, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to look into this whether you can or not.
Yeah.
But I'm just,
Yeah.
take that 25,000 and we'll figure it out. But anyway, yes.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to do is
Yes.
have our newspaper write an article that scares WVU away, and they pull it all back,
So
which I've probably already said too much
just
on that.
one more point of
Emphasis.
emphasis. Great, thank you. IRS definition of a donation is you expect nothing in return.
Okay? So then,
So-
then every single one of our donations that are running around every school in Harrison County,
No, they're not expecting anything.
they're expecting their sign to be put up.
That's an advertisement sign. It's an advertising sign, not a donation. That's what I'm saying. That is different. Giovanna
Okay.
Comer and Simpson Elementary,
Okay.
they accepted donations for the playground. Those people gave donations expecting nothing else in return,
Okay,
other than maybe the recognition of being good stewards and helping our schools,
okay,
okay?
okay.
Just like,
Okay,
Okay.
see the basic definition between.
okay, yes.
I have one thing to say, and this, you may think is irrelevant, but I remember back in 1980 some, and all, I don't, Mary Jo, no, don't go to sleep on me, Mary Jo. That we had a scoreboard that came over on the Mayflower in the RW gym, and I asked the principal, can we have a brand-new scoreboard? He says, if you can get the money, you can have a scoreboard. I said, if I go out and ask for donations, I can get the scoreboard. Yeah. Well, 30 minutes on the telephone, I had $3,000, and the scoreboard cost $3,000. These people said, I'll give 100, I'll give 50, I'll give 75, and then within a half hour, I had got $3,000 worth of donations, and we ordered a scoreboard that day, and it arrived. The county installed it for us, and, but it was just donations. And the people, all we did was list their names of the people that donated. And we had a scoreboard. I'm just saying, it's a lot different now. I mean, you're talking $100,000 scoreboard.
$200,000 scoreboard.
$200,000?
$225,000 scoreboard, yes.
Yeah.
Which we've already approved for purchase.
That all the school had to do was that very next day, issue that purchase order, and it could have been ordered.
Okay, all right. So there's a motion on the table to table this contract, and I guess RCB's contract as well. We got stuck in the middle of a vote, so I'll ask for a vote, call for question again. All those in favor of tabling the items in front of us, the two contracts, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Nay.
Nay.
All right, so that passes 3-2, it's tabled. What I would ask is that we get this worked out within the next week and put it on our next agenda. Because I want,
Yes.
I want,
Communication
yeah,
starts,
I agree. And I don't want any issues with our people that are willing in our community to
Exactly.
support us and to support the schools. That's the last thing I want. I don't want anybody to say, look, we've given X amount of dollars to this program, or we've given X amount of donations to this here, and where's ours, where are we getting this at?
so let's just use Hope Gas as a example.
Mm-hmm.
I have said that they're going to donate up to half of the cost, up to $900,000 for South Harrison High School.
Mm-hmm.
What are they wanting in return?
They want their logo on the
Just
field,
That's it, and then they're done. That's
want
a true
something.
donation.
but they want something.
That's no different than the branding. That's the branding piece of that concert.
Now, I
Well,
understand
and
your-
I'm pretty sure they'll probably let them in free, which is kind of like tickets.
Well,
Just saying.
everybody gets in free now.
For $900,000, I'd say, what size logo do you
Yeah,
want?
well, exactly, but yes, exactly, but
I
but
do
that's
not
the
want-
minor thing.
Correctly.
Let me make this clear. I do not want to make it difficult for anyone in our community to donate and help
No,
our
totally
schools.
agree,
Exactly.
totally agree.
So I want us to get this figured out ASAP.
But I also don't
If this
want it to
contract
become-
gets figured out like this, the way it's supposed to be, then it needs to be used as.
Every
as
time.
the
As an
of
example
everything
for
from that point on.
templates. Yes, yes,
Exactly.
yes.
But at the same time, I don't think we ever want to put ourselves in a position where John Q. Public dictates what they're going, that we have to do with the money that they, per se, are donating. In other words,
No, that's
to
why
put
you
the
sign, they have two
stipulations on.
signatures.
That's,
Folks that are donating and the
that's,
ones that
that to me is a little bit iffy. If I give somebody $100,000, I'm gonna ask for some things.
As long as it's within
size
reason.
that logo in the correct spelling.
Anyway,
And
all right.
that's appropriate.
We are tabled on that matter. So I think this brings us down to
Comments?
board member comments. Mr. Tucker.
Well, I was at Lincoln High School this morning, for they have a memorial for the folks that have worked there at any time and have passed on, and they've continued this. It's been 25, I think this is the 25th or 26th year. And for those folks to continue that, in the one that I spoke on, probably only 2 or 3 people knew this individual, but, you know, there was 2 others that had passed on, and they're doing a wonderful job. They gave out 8 scholarships from this also. So they started off by giving 1 or 2 whenever they started, and they've just been able to add to it, and so it was great. It was a great program.
Very nice. Mr. Hood?
Well, I just feel that moving forward, that we need to make sure that we recognize these people that are retiring this year. Mrs. Mancini, Big Jim, and Lola. Tammy's not retired.
Oh, no, she's changing jobs, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. You said
Okay.
retiring.
We're not running you out the door yet, you know, we've run the other 3 out. No, I think that we need to be so appreciative of the jobs that they've done for the Harrison County kids, whether it be as a teacher, administrator, job out of the county office, all that they've done for the kids of Harrison County. I just don't think that they receive the gratitude that they deserve. So I say at this point, I'd like to thank you, and I'm sure everybody else would, for jobs well done. And we hope nothing more than you go into retirement and you're able to enjoy it and always look back on what you've done in your career and what you did for the kids and everybody around, that, you know, that you are appreciated. And you'll see it, I think, more and more. I mean, I've been retired since, feels like Moby Dick was a minute, 14 years. And to this day, you see kids on the street and all, and they come up. And to me, when they come up and thank you for, you know, what you did for them 20 years ago, that right there lets you know that you were appreciated for the job that you did and the help that you give them. And Julie, Big Jim, Lola, thank you very much for Harrison County.
Dr. Santilli?
Yeah, I was lucky to go to 2 graduations, South Harrison, and I did prove I'm not a witch. I did not melt in the rain. And United, and they were both very, very nice graduations. And for those employees, 200-day employees, please have a restful summer, and I hope you get a nice break. For the 250 employees, may the force be with you. And to echo what Doug said, thank you so much to those that are retiring, and we appreciate your service to our kids.
Ms. Smith?
On the opposite side of that, I'm glad it didn't rain at Bridgeport, because I would have melted. But congratulations to all the graduates and the staff for completing another school year, and happy summer.
Happy summer. To echo everybody that's talking about the retirements, you know, you've got, Superintendent Stutler said, we've got big shoes to fill in their positions, all right? And I always think that when you have someone that says you have big shoes to fill in the position, that goes to the effect that you've had on that job. And it shows the effect of what the loss is going to be to that job. And I want to congratulate you all on your careers, congratulate all our retirees on their careers, and make sure that you stay in touch. Keep us updated on the margaritas that you're drinking on the beach, right? So, but yeah, congratulations to everybody. Congratulations to the graduates. I also want to congratulate Dr. Mark Manchin. He had a new grandchild that was just recently born. So congratulations to Doc. He was with us for a long time, and I think that he deserves our congratulations. And there's a lot of good people on this agenda that are retiring. So congratulations to all of them. I don't have anything further. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Children repeat.